One exercise to improve awareness of the pelvis and spine alignment is called the pelvic tilt. Stand with one hand on your abdomen and the other hand on your low back. Gently bend your knees so they're not locked and tip your pelvis forward so there's an arch in your low back. Good job, Amelia. Now, go the other way. Tip your pelvis backwards so there's a curve in the low back. Great. Sometimes this is difficult for young dancers to learn because it is not included in ballet technique. So, Amelia is going to use a bucket to show you how it's done. Pretend that your pelvis is like a bucket full of water. And if you tip your pelvis forward, so tip your pelvis forward, and the water falls out the front, and presto, if you tilt your pelvis backwards, the water falls out the back. Thank you, Amelia. You can also do the pelvic tilt lying down on the floor. If you tip your pelvis forward, there's an arch in the low back. Amelia, can you put your hand under that arch, your right hand under that arch? There's the hand. If you tip your pelvis backwards, your back flattens into the mat. And once again, tip your pelvis forwards to arch the back. And go ahead and flatten the spine against the mat. Thank you, Amelia. Now Amelia is going to stretch the front of her thigh, the quad muscle. In standing, go ahead and bend your knee and reach for your ankle or foot. From here, make sure your two thighs are in the same plane. So bring your leg back so it's in line with the other one. Keep your pelvis tucked so the back is not arching, and feel a stretch in the front of your thigh. That is the quad stretch. A quad stretch is for the front of the thigh. Amelia is going to bend one knee and reach for the ankle with the hand. When she does this, she's making sure that she's keeping the thigh in line with the leg so the heel comes towards the buttock. Now, Amelia is going to show us how to stretch an important muscle in the front of the leg called the hip flexor. Start by kneeling with one foot in front of the other. Notice the way Amelia is doing this. She's making sure that her legs are lined up as if they were on a train track, so there's no tipping or rotating in the pelvis. From this position, Amelia is going to tuck her tailbone underneath by bringing her bikini line closer to her nose. And then gently glide forward, keeping the back straight, no arching in the back. And Amelia, show us where you feel that stretch. Right in the front of the hip. That's exactly right. Perfect. Okay, now Amelia, release that tuck and allow your back to arch. Okay, that's the wrong way to do it because you're not really feeling a stretch there. And come on back and do it right. So you're going to come up tall, tuck the pelvis under, and gently glide forward. Very good. Keeping the hips square. Now Amelia is going to show us how to stretch the hamstring muscle in standing. Using a small block or stool, go ahead and put your heel on the block, coming up nice and tall in your spine. Gently tip your tailbone backwards to arch your back, keeping the knee straight, and gently bend forward. And Amelia, where do you feel that stretch? In the back of the thigh. That's perfect. Great. Now Amelia is going to show us how to use the core muscles. Here she is on all fours. She's keeping her spine still and letting her belly relax. So notice how Pop-Tarts, Pringles, dessert all hang out there. And now she's going to gently draw her belly up towards her spine without moving it. Go ahead and do that again, Amelia. Let everything hang. Stomach is relaxed. And now draw your belly up towards your spine using your muscles. Very good. Now, Amelia, show us what not to do. The cat-camel exercise, where you arch and move the back. Keep going. Go the other way. There we go. So that's a different exercise. It's very good, but it's not the one we're doing right now. A good way to check and see if you're doing this exercise correctly is to put a small object on your back. Amelia is using a yoga block, but you could use a tissue box. Go ahead and let your belly sag. Everything's hanging out. Now draw your belly up towards your spine with your muscles. The block does not move. Once again, go ahead and let your belly sag. Belly comes out. And draw the muscles up towards your spine, and the block does not move. Now, if Amelia moves her back and does it incorrectly, the block falls off. So that's a good way to know if you're doing it right. One way to practice using your abdominal muscles to get your core stronger is to do arm lifts. So in all fours, engage your abdominal muscles by bringing your belly up towards your spine. Good job, Amelia. Now go ahead and lift one arm. Keeping your back still, go ahead and put it down. And we're just going to switch arms, trying to keep the spine still the whole time. One more on each side to practice. See how Amelia keeps her spine absolutely still? Great. Once you've mastered lifting your arms, go ahead and keep the spine still as you skate one leg back as if the knee was on a skateboard. Notice how Amelia is keeping her back still. And switch. Wow, Amelia, you must have a really strong core. Let me see you do that one more time on each side. So the spine is still. Great. A challenge exercise for engaging the abdominal muscles is to try to put both arm and leg lifts together. Amelia, can you lift one arm and the opposite leg at the same time? So this is the left arm and the right leg. And switch. And notice how she's keeping her spine still and straight. There's no arch in the back. One more on each side. Wow, Amelia, that takes balance too.